All right, everyone, welcome back to The Rise. I'm so excited. You are in for such a treat today because we have an absolutely badass powerhouse guest that's going to get us to rise in our abundance, our financial mindset, not only externally, but internally as well, which he is there for a soul brother of mine. You are going to meet the incredible Justin Buonomo. And he reminded me it's like Geronimo. So that's how you can remember. Justin and I were introduced recently through a mutual contact, colleague, friend. And it already, Justin, you've blessed my life, and it's been such a gift to get to know you. So, welcome to the show.
You so much for having me. I know it's so cliche to say, but you're just one of those people that I feel like I've known for forever. We've known each other for a couple of months now, but we've also had a ton of conversations and deep ones at that. And I'm sure today is going to add to that bucket of beautiful conversations we've had.
I think so too. And you're taking time out from, of course, a big, you're running a business, you're a husband, a father, you have a big house remodel, renovation. Anyone who's gone through that knows that that will test anyone's sanity, patience, spiritual, serenity, all the things. So thank you so much for taking the time, because we're talking about something today. You are an expert in something that is so crucially important. And those of you that train with me in Thought Leader Academy know how important I feel it is for us to have financial empowerment, to really do the deep inner work around money and abundance and profitability so that we can be the contributors in our fully self-actualized, potential that we came into be. Because our visions often require and make us desire to invest in things, our families, our life experiences, our health, our building our businesses, investing in creating more contribution, and ultimately our legacy. So sometimes, I don't know, Justin, if you get this in your line of work and you're going to let everyone know more about what you do here. It's like sometimes people say, "Oh, why do you have to talk about money?" It's like, well, there's a lot of importance, if we care about contribution, leadership, and building a legacy, to having some element of agency, empowerment, mastery, access to this area of our lives. So I'm excited to learn from you today. Justin, can you share more about, you can share who you are, what you do, how you help your amazing clients in your community so that we can get this learning started?
Well, I could probably just leave the audience with what you just said about money and they'd get great results or at least great information about why it's so important. I am Justin Buonomo. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Journey to Financial Freedom, and we do financial coaching and strategy for business owners. And so our company slogan is money is the tool, freedom is the goal. And I always say, like, I don't really care about money in itself or investing in itself or, like I don't really care about the money by itself. I care about the massive decreased stress and anxiety and opportunity it's going to provide for not only you and your business, but your family and life in totality. And so I always say it's literally impossible to live your dream life if you don't have your money under control, right? And so when people try to push back on that, I'm like, all right, so tell me, does your dream life have unnecessary stress and anxiety and missed opportunities involved with it? Right. And they say no. It's like, great, because that's a perfect example then. Because if you don't have your money under control, you're going to go through a whole bunch of unnecessary stress and anxiety and mass amounts of missed opportunity in this world. And money is just a beautiful tool to help us accomplish our goals a heck of a lot faster. And so, before I go on too deep of a rampage, I'm just going to use one example here that's what happens. You hand over the microphone to me. I just get going. But I have this awesome analogy when it comes to money being a beautiful tool. And so I always tell the story, about my father-in-law, who's a contractor, who's doing the work on my house right now. And a couple of years ago, he was asking me for like budgeting advice, right? Like, and managing money better. And so I told him, when you can learn how to manage money better, it's an incredible tool to help you achieve all of your goals in the fastest, most efficient, and stress-free way as possible. And so I gave him the example and I said, hey, Frank, would you say it's your goal to renovate he was doing the spare bathroom at the time, right? To renovate that spare bathroom and get absolute best outcomes. You want that thing to look almost perfect when you're done, right? Would you agree that's your goal? And he said, yeah, 1000%. Of course, duh. And so I said, great, great. Let's hang out there for a second, right? And so I told him, I was like, would you come over here without your tools? without your hammer, your screwdriver, your saw, and think that you were going to get best results on the goal that you have of absolutely crushing that spare bathroom? And he said, yeah, no, absolutely not. And I said, perfect. That's a great example and a great explanation and description to basically show you that if you have these major business, financial, or life goals, you need the right tools to help you accomplish them in the fastest, most stress-free and opportunistic way as possible. Can you still accomplish goals without tools? Maybe, but it's going to cause you a heck of a lot of unnecessary stress and anxiety and missed opportunities in the process if you don't have the proper tools, right? Particularly you can have the proper tools, but then also knowing how to leverage and utilize them to the best of your ability, right, is so super important. And that's really just a whole spiel here to break down the importance of money as that tool and the significance and the importance that it has for the audience listening.
I love this so much. And we're going to talk about in a little bit too how with your folks, it's not like they just come in and you're like, here's how to make some investments and make some. It's like you're really doing the mindset work, which is so important, I think, because that was definitely what was in my way, right? And I've actually written on money and trauma, the link between unresolved trauma and earning. And I didn't realize how much the unresolved trauma in my life was keeping me in an under earning, unworthy, like I was repelling. And I want to just like emphasize, and I love the contractor analogy. And what really brought home for me is I was in just, again, I'm not going into my story here, right? But those of you that follow the show know, I couldn't make $20,000 in a year. It's just in a very much of a starving artist, sort of mentality and mindset. And there was this calling in me. It was like, you need to look at this area of your life. You need to have a real sense of transformation in this area. And I really pray. I'm someone who prays, right? And I really, really had this moment. I was like, I don't want to be in this just for the money, right? I don't want to do anything in my life just for, money. And I don't want to do anything that's just about American, like more, 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 that kind of whole motivation. And what really came over me was that this was a spiritual mission. This was actually crucially important to my spiritual development to break this unworthiness and poverty off my family line. And once I knew it was a spiritual mission for me, that's just the way I roll, then it's like game on. Like I'm going to do whatever I need to do to show up for that. And the reason I share this, Justin, with the work that you're doing, I was so grateful to meet you and hear about your approach to working with your clients, is because I never knew that was about 3 years that put me on a journey to rise my, financial empowerment and abundance. And when the pandemic hit, my husband lost his whole business. He's in TV and film, like it all shut down. And if that had happened and I had not answered that particular mission to become a contributor financially I was already a contributor in my family. Like, let's make no mistake, I'm but I wasn't a financial contributor in a substantial way. That would have been a crisis in our family, like a true crisis. And I was able to say, I got us. I got us. And so what you do, it matter. It's not like you said, you're not interested in the money for the money's sake, but I sure did love staying in my house when that happened. I really loved getting to send my child to the school we want to send him to when that happened. I loved saying to my amazing husband of 23 years now, hey, we're good. I got you. I got us. And this is okay. And I wouldn't have been able. So it's not just about the money. It's about, like you said, opportunity, or like being able to contribute and being able to not have horrific. I can't imagine what the stress and anxiety would have been to our family at that point. It would not have been good. And so let's talk about, Justin, you've now created a really incredible, successful business that truly changes people's financial destiny. So do you want to share a little bit about this mindset and like inside outside approach that you take?
For sure. And I love that too, because I'm gonna make my way to the answer here. But one thing that came up as you were talking is, I love I love a lot of quotes about money, but two of them that came up. One was, money can't buy happiness, but it's a darn good middleman. Right. And so, like, you can't go to Walmart and buy happiness over the counter, right? But when you have money in the bank, when an emergency pops up, right, the stress and anxiety and problems that it protects you from, protects your happiness. enhances your happiness, gives your happiness an opportunity to continue to not only survive, but thrive. Right. And so the other quote is money doesn't solve all problems, but it solves the majority of them.
The majority. Right.
You know? And so I think even people that have a lot of money, though, still can experience the beauty that it provides in your life because of the internal world. And so my company, the name is awesome, Journey to Financial Freedom, but it really is the end goal for our clients, which is financial freedom. And so again, still making my way to your answer here. I promise you it's gonna be worth
You're
it.
doing great.
And
I'm
so,
I'm tracking with
and so the our definition of financial freedom, right, is owning an asset or assets that make you enough money each month to cover your expenses and your lifestyle, whether you choose to show up or not. And most times that asset is your business, right? And so to get there, we have to reverse engineer all the way back to step one. And so we take our clients through a 4-step process. The first step and the most important one, we kind of run two things in parallel here, if you will. We help you implement the right systems for your finances, both personal and business, which maybe we might get into later. But to answer your question, the other thing that we do initially and throughout the whole entire process is enhance the mindset, or what we call the internal world, right? Because we always say your external wealth is just a reflection of your internal wealth. And so if you have scarce, fearful, and negative thoughts around money, guess what your external reality is going to look like? Pretty close to that, right? And so when you start to address things at a belief level is when you start to get long-term sustainable results. And so I always say that like your reality is just a direct reflection of your behaviors. Your behaviors are a result of your beliefs, and our beliefs have been formed through our traumas and experiences in life. And so a lot of times our money story, our money behaviors just happen to have to do with the beliefs that are behind those behaviors. And so when you can start to figure out why am I the way I am and why do I do the things that I do, particularly with money, is when you can start to get an incredibly larger and more results, if you will. And so I always use the example of like, think about, the fitness and nutrition space, right? Nothing wrong with those industries or the programs out there, but if you're driving, be careful responding to this, but raise your hand if you've ever been on a diet or a workout plan before where you crushed it for the first 60 to 90 days, right? And you've been getting back on track for the past 3 years, right? Me, right? I'm like, on Monday, I'm getting back on track here, right? And so I've been doing it for years, right? And we all do it. And it's nothing wrong again with those industries or those programs, but really the issue is that they only address things at a behavioral level, right? Where after the honeymoon phase is over, right? And things aren't fun anymore, you just go back to old habits and old ways because we didn't get to the underlying or root cause of the behaviors, which are the beliefs. And so your beliefs and your thoughts, right? They carry a vibration with them, right? And that vibration is what attracts similar vibrations, right? So if you're carrying around a scarce vibration, you're attracting scarce results. When we can enhance the beliefs, that internal world, your emotions, and your relationship with money, right, and raise the vibration of those thoughts, that's again also what you're going to attract. And so, like, the biggest needle mover for anybody listening to this is really just examining your thoughts, particularly around money. Right? What do you think and believe around money? And if we can start to enhance those, you're going to enhance your results as well.
I love this so much. And your definition, can you read it again? I think everyone needs to hear this definition of financial freedom a second time and probably 30 more because it's so imagine. I mean, Justin, you've achieved this, right? And you help your clients achieve it. But I'm wondering how many people, listening feel like, I mean, I haven't reached full financial freedom where I could, show up or not, to work what I call working. Luckily, I love what I do, but I haven't reached that yet. And so can you share that again so everyone can just like really take it in a
Yeah,
deep
for sure.
way?
I've shared on all of our group coaching
Yeah.
calls, all of our one-on-ones. I'm like, I think everybody inside of JFF, employees and clients, are gonna get this tattooed on them because I'd say it's like a running joke that every time we hop on, I'm like, all right, just a little reminder here. Well, definition of
Here's why
financial
we're here.
freedom.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, definition of financial freedom is owning an asset or assets that make you enough money each month automatically to cover your expenses and your lifestyle, whether you choose to show up or not. And I think a couple important points there to break down. And like, it's like, first off, what is an asset?
Right.
All an asset is something that is money, is making you money, or can make you money, right?
Mhm.
So is money, it's like the green paper bills in your wallet or the money in your bank account, right? Something that is making you money is like your business, right? And so your business can be making you money. Or let's just say you have investments in the stock market or investments in real estate. Those things are making you money right now, right? Or should be. And then lastly, something that can make you money. So I always use the example that let's just say you owned a car outright
Yeah.
and you didn't owe anything on it and you went and traded it in and they would give you green paper bills in your hand, right? So that asset can make you money possibly.
Right.
And so again, all our clients that we work with, they're business owners, and just understanding that their business is that asset or
Yes.
what we would maybe call your financial freedom vehicle.
Yeah.
And so the other thing to hold on to in that definition is expenses and lifestyle. Right. And so we're not the company that's going to tell you to sell your car and scooter to work to save money or, sell your bed and sleep on the floor to pay your bills. Like we want you to live your money. And I promise you it is possible to live your life and make financial progress at the same time. And when you're in financial freedom, like we want you to be living the life that you want. We say show some humility, obviously, right? But at the same time, it's like, is it really financial freedom if you're not living your dream life? And so baking that
Yes.
number in there, right, is
Yes.
so super important.
I want everyone to think about as a homework, we love doing homework and taking action. Obviously, Justin, we're both coaches, right? So can't help myself. I, I'm going to offer everyone the invitation to take some time today and journal on what your dream life is, right? Your ideal life. And so how much are you like for me travel is a really big thing. My son just turned 13, so it's like we just can go, and I mean he's like he loves to travel and explore. That's just the phase we're in. We love it. Travel all over the world. And so, how much traveling do you want to do, or what personal and professional investments do you want to make in your own, growth and all of those kind of things. And that's the number, right? It's not like you said some deprivational life where you hear these things where people are like, no, eat at the discount food market, go dumpster diving for your. It's like, no, we're not talking about, and I love that's why your abundance mindset, right? This isn't about a scarcity mindset of just getting by or that
Yeah.
type of thing. This is about whatever the lifestyle. Some of us have more desire for a bigger number than others. It doesn't matter. We're not here to compare ourselves to anyone, but I want everyone to do this exercise because I think it's really cool to have, again, we need a mold, right? When the universe has like something to pour into and what that, if it's $1 million a year, it's $10,000 a year. It doesn't, it's like, but what is that? Because then what financial freedom is for you, right? When you have that assets that can make you money, are making you money, could make you money, that cover that, whether you show it or not. I love that so much. And I think it's such a radical, and I say that in a really positive way, like it's a radical idea because I think so many people don't even believe it's possible. Back to beliefs.
Yeah.
Right. Back to our, so Justin I mean, you've grown this business from, start all the way through, 7 figures and beyond. And what is your, like what would be one milestone that was particularly important to you? The fans of the show know that we like to talk about a rise and not just the summit. Okay, so Justin does have his summit, of this wonderful community that he's leading and changing everyone's financial destiny, creating freedom. But Justin, is there something that stands out to you when you look back at this journey that was particularly powerful?
Yeah, I think two things stand out. Number one was in our second full year of business, we hit 7 figures and was crazy. And looking back, it's just a lot of things contributed to that, but really our and my relationship with money.
Mhm.
Right. The ability to not only attract more, but to be able to manage it and grow it and invest it wisely. Right. And then also give back. Money is energy, right? And it's a circle. One of my favorite books is called Happy Money by Ken Honda. Right.
Yes.
And there's a circle, right? That
Yeah.
energy comes and goes in. Right. And a big part of attracting more money is just taking control of your current situation. People think that more money is the solution. It's like you're not going to out earn your poor money habits, right? We're not against making more money. It's just got to make sense. And so the biggest thing that I learned in my process and other people's process is that stewardship, right, is the key. And so what I mean by that is like I'm a man of God. I'm a Christian, and so I really believe in the biblical principles around money. A lot of them misconstrued, maybe a topic for a different day. But one of them is that God blesses us with things like money, and He expects us to take care of them in a way that when we go to give it back to Him one day, it's in better shape than when He initially gave it to us, right? And so when we take care of our money, well, God blesses us with more, right? Because we've been proven and deserving of more. And so I really like to attribute, a lot of our success is just because of our relationship with money, the way we think about it and manage it. And honestly, in our programs, we just teach our clients the exact things that we did right to get
Yeah.
there. And then also, I've stepped on a lot of landmines. I'm not perfect. I made a lot of mistakes too, as well. And I still make a lot of mistakes. And so I often joke that the majority of my programs are just mistakes that I've made, and I'm just teaching other people not how to
Yes.
not make those mistakes, right?
Yes.
But that's one of the things that really stick out to me. I don't think that was by chance that, year two of business, we
Mhm.
made seven figures, right? And I think a lot of that has to do with the principles that we practice and, that we preach and practice.
And did you actively work on beliefs, or had you already done your belief work when you had that particular rise? Because what we're kind of parsing out here is,
Yeah.
to go to seven figures in the second year of business, I would imagine is a very, very small percentage of entrepreneurs. Like if you're not a, Fortune 1000, you didn't have investors or any, that is, it took me a few more years than that. I don't know. We did it in four or something like that. But but you did that very quickly in terms of, I think, the general entrepreneurship population. I would imagine it's a very small number that made it that fast. And so I know you attribute it to, your principles, the way you are. Had you already done that inner belief work, or were you doing that to break through to seven figures?
Let's say that I've historically just been a confident person.
Okay.
Right. And I've overcome a lot in life, and I know that I can do hard things. And I also believe in myself like no other. And so that belief, I think, got me to that seven figures. But when I got there, I actually learned that there was a lot of work to do internally because, it's one thing to get there. It's another thing to feel that you're deserving of it, right?
Mhm.
That you're worthy of it. And that not only you can sustain it, but you can scale it from there. And so I always have the story that at a young age, God gave me everything that I wanted. And I call this my paradoxical corner. Right. For some reason, he decided at a young age, he's like, I'm going to give you everything that you think is going to give you happiness. Right. And so he gave me the dream house, the dream cars, $1 million, all these different things. Right. And while those things were awesome, there's nothing wrong with them. Right. I was still struggling with the same stress and anxiety and depression that I was before. Right.
Mhm.
And again, it's not that money and those things don't help. They do, right? But they're amplifiers of happiness, which means that they make you happy for a short period of time, but they're not a source of eternal happiness. And so this paradoxical corner basically forced me to go within. God told me the answers are within. And so I started doing the mindset work and taking my own spiritual journey and just really asking myself, what happened to me in life and why am I the way that I am and why do I do the things that I do?
Mhm.
Right. And so my mentor tells me all the time, he's like, the highest leverage point for not only your financial wealth, but your overall success as a human is optimizing the human behind the business, behind the money, behind the relationships. And so to answer your question, like I have always been strong-willed. I have always had an optimistic mindset and good energy, which I think played a large part in the attraction. But at the same time, I started to realize that I started gaining more money, right? Making more money, making more success, that I had some upper limit level problems, right? And a lot of it had to do with the beliefs that I had around my worthiness of money and also the sustainability of the success that I had.
Yeah.
And so, going back to my childhood, my parents, they filed for bankruptcy by the time I was 10 years old. And because of that, it led to a lot of things. It led to them getting a divorce, us losing our house, both of our cars getting repoed. And both of my parents, when they moved to rental properties, they didn't allow pets. And I had a 3-year-old dog at the time who was my best friend, who I literally had to give away as a result of
No.
it. Right. And so I carry this limiting belief that one day the other shoe is just going to drop. Because when I was 10 years old, the other shoe dropped in my
Yeah.
life as I knew it. Just the carpet got ripped out from underneath me.
Yeah.
And we struggled ever since. Nothing was ever the same. And so my point of bringing that up is like, that's something I still struggle with. I'm like, oh, one of these days, my business, it's going to fail or we're going to lose this or the other shoe's going to drop.
Yep.
And so, your financial journey, particularly the mindset side of things, is a lifelong journey,
Yeah.
right? At best, it's this beautiful dance of 4 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, right? And so, even with the success that I've had, I still have a lot of work to do, and that, I'm actively working through. And the mindset being the main thing. It's like the systems and strategies. At a certain point when it comes to finances, there's only so much you can cover and implement, right? There's only so many systems and strategies and things that we could do with money, right? Your limitations, you're going to hit a glass ceiling, right, at some point until you go within,
Yeah.
right? And so it brings you kind of back to my second major milestone, which my first client that she hit financial freedom, and she did a beautiful job of implementing the systems and strategies and that relationship with money to feel safer with more money. She came to us, when she found us, her business was doing about $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and 6 months later, she was doing $40,000 a month, and now about a year later, she's completely financially free. And she told her story. We had a live event on Friday, and in-person event, and she came and told her story, and it was like the first 10 minutes of the event, and I just somehow I just felt the intuition to ask her to tell her story. It wasn't planned, and you could just see the impact that it had throughout the room. But I think the person that it impacted the most was definitely me, so I had to share that as one of my milestones and circle back to that.
Well, it's so important for us all to see others do it, right? That's why you build a community and don't just coach one-on-one. I mean, it's scale as well, but like, how amazing to be in the room with her and have her. I'm so excited for you to have had that moment where, you were able, I mean, how fast again, like she was able to really, by merging those two. And thank you for sharing the experience you had of, you know, like sometimes the stuff comes up to do the inner work, at different points, right? It's not like we're done, is I guess what we're saying. It's like if we're growing, someone always, one of my mentors always says, when you're done, you're dead. And so while we're still here, there's still this work to do. And it's so beautiful to see, you had a really traumatic experience, around money, and that you've now become a champion and a leader of others to develop the true internal safety and availability. And I will call it maybe capacity for money, and then the external wealth that goes with that. And it's so, I love that paradoxical corner is so powerful, because it was sort of like at a certain point, we all get guided within, if we're willing to do it. And thank you for being willing, because now you get to lead others and let them know, like, hey guys, just don't wait for the piano to drop, to do, it's like, let's just build this, and you bake it in, you're putting the zucchini in the brownies as you teach these things. And I think it's extraordinary. And I love hearing about this woman who is like, 2 to 3 thousand to full financial freedom in like a year is extraordinary, right? I mean, that is absolutely awesome. So I want everyone, again, reminder of like, do this homework, because that's the starting place of having the vision, because then you can learn what Justin's talking about. And Justin, how can people find you, follow you, hear about what's coming up? What's the best way for them to connect with you?
Absolutely. So to learn more about my business, and if that's something that you're interested in, you can go to journeytofinancialfreedom.co, not .com. Don't put the M there.
Oh, we'll put this in the show notes, you guys. .co.
CO, yeah,
Yeah.
leaving the M off saved us like $3,000
Yes, as
on
it does.
purchasing the domain. And if you want to connect with me further, you can find me on Instagram, Justin_Buonomo. Shoot me a follow, shoot me a message, and I'm more than happy to go back and forth with you and connect with you further.
That's amazing. We'll put Justin's Insta, which I follow, and your .co website there, so you guys can really take this journey to financial freedom. And that's ultimately, like you started with, Justin, at the very beginning so beautifully. It's what we're really called to. It's what we want, is the freedom, the what money empowers, what it allows us to give to others, to share, to be generous, to be in that contribution, and to self-actualize, right? Which it just, I don't know about, I have multiple coaches. I invest in my health. I mean, there's things that I choose to circulate money in, that it's, and I really want to make sure we don't, as almost like a little PS here, miss this beautiful nugget that you gave us, where you talked about, like, if you don't do the inner work and you don't turn within, like there's going to be a ceiling. And the way that I love hearing that said is your business can't outgrow you, and your wealth really can't outgrow you either. So if you're growing internally and you're doing the personal growth work that Justin's facilitating while learning the kick-ass financial strategies and real estate and your money, I love those 3 buckets of money. And that's another thing for everyone to consider. Reach out, follow Justin, and find out, like, what of my money is working for me already, what could work for me, what's creating that financial freedom. You've given us so many awesome pieces to think about today. And thank you for taking the time in the middle of the renovation. Thank you for leading us and teaching us today. And I'm excited for y'all to connect with Justin further, and let's rise our wealth and abundance and legacy. Thanks,
Thanks so much
Justin.
for having me. I appreciate it.